Hi, this deck of cards was compiled to facilitate getting through the MCAT style passage, cats and dogs, and conditioning. And the content is based on the psychological and biological foundations of behavior. Okay? Blank conditioning holds that when behavior leads to certain consequences, those consequences then influence the behavior. So what type of conditioning is this? That would be operant conditioning. And whatever the behavior is, you can either respond with reinforcement or punishment to increase or decrease the behavior. So the consequence would either be the reinforcement or the punishment. Okay, I'll give you a moment to take this in. Blank conditioning is when a neutral stimulus is paired with an unconditioned stimulus to elicit an unconditioned response. So what kind of conditioning pairs a neutral stimulus with an unconditioned, naturally occurring stimulus? That would be classical condition. So the unconditioned stimulus would be a bone, and the conditioned stimulus would be a bell. So together they yield a conditioned response. Well, okay, I said that wrong. The bone elicits the unconditioned response of salivation, but after conditioning, the bell itself will elicit the same response of salivation. In the context of conditioning, positive refers to the gain of something, while negative refers to the removal of a blank S. And this is specifically referring to operant conditioning or behavioral conditioning. So what goes in the blank? That would be a stimulus, okay? So food is a stimulus, or even a bell can become a stimulus after conditioning. So I'll give you a moment to take this concept in fully. E blank N is the negation of a conditioned response as the conditioned stimulus is presented without the unconditioned stimulus. So you should be able to guess this by now. What is it? That would be extinction. So if the bell is presented with food, the dog salivates. But if after a while you just keep on ringing the bell with no food, the dog is going to just ignore the bell and stop salivating. Classical or operant conditioning ties one stimulus to another, while classical or operant conditioning ties behavior to a consequence. Thus, only classical or operant conditioning directly affects behavior. So fill in the blanks appropriately. I'll give you a moment. So the order is classical, operant, and operant. Okay. Punishments are designed to de-incentivize a certain behavior, while R blank S encourage behavior. So what encourages behavior? That's right, you guessed it, reinforcements. Okay, so reinforcements will encourage a behavior. Blank to reinforcement is the removal of something unpleasant to reward or goal or behavior. So what type of reinforcement is this? That's right, you guessed it, negative. So this picture isn't a good example of reward, but let's say a child is getting bad grades, but it's a high schooler, not just a child. And so but you want them to get good grades, so you add a spending limit to their credit card. But when they start getting good grades, you remove the spending limit. So the removal of the limit would be negative, taking something away in order to increase, behavior or reward good behavior.